Congratulations on your new SAF Infinitum device. Before we install your new SAF Infinitum, please make sure you have all its components ready. The main control device, batteries, battery charger and power supply, irrigation tube, self-adjusting files, contra-angled handpieces, and either a transmitter or a cordless motor to operate it all. First, make sure to fully charge the batteries before the first use. A full charge will take up to 2.5 hours, and the green light will indicate that the batteries are charged. To operate, make sure that the device is placed on a stable and clean working surface. Load a charged battery into its hub in the main device and make sure it is secured in its place. Lift the screen to an upright position and shortly press the power button. The system will now load within 30 to 40 seconds. Now, let's set it up. Choose English or German, so we can have a common language. Upon first use, you will be asked to connect the system to your Wi-Fi network, to register the device and look for software updates. Your contact details will be used to activate the warranty and assure easy support in the future. Next, you will need to pair your device with a transmitter. The basic operation of the SAF Infinitum system is by a wireless transmitter connected to an electric digital micromotor, such as the one of a dental unit with speed and torque control, or an endodontic motor with a standard ISO-type micromotor. The transmitter is a microcomputer that draws its power from the rotation of the micromotor and sends the main device an operation signal that will activate the pumps, while also monitoring that the micromotor works at the correct speed range. You can fit the SAF contra-angled handpiece onto the transmitter to operate the self-adjusting files. Connect the dual lumen tube that carries the irrigant to the file and the excess suctioned liquid back to the pump, to the handpiece, and then to the transmitter. This will lock in the tube so it does not release during operation. Unlocking is simple, by pressing the upper latch to release the handpiece from the transmitter. The disposable handpiece is a unique piece of technology that turns the rotation of the micromotor into quick vibration, combined with slow rotation. A clutch mechanism stops the rotation of the SAF when it is engaged inside the root canal, to provide the scrubbing effect of the file. To work with the transmitter, you need to set your dental micromotor to 5000 RPM. Another option for the operation of the SAF Infinitum is the designated cordless motor that operates at a constant speed of 5000 RPM while sending the main device an operation signal. The cordless motor is rechargeable and can be recharged by its protective cradle. It supports the same handpieces. The connection of the handpiece to the cordless motor locks the tube in place, locking that can be released by pressing the white release button below the grey operation button. To operate the system, you will need to pair your transmitter or cordless motor with the device, as you will be asked to do during the first use. You can pair up to 3 transmitters with your device and unpair through the settings menu. If you have more than one SAF Infinitum device in your clinic, make sure to pair each transmitter with only one of the devices. The SAF Infinitum system can be used to conduct a root canal treatment in one of 2 available modes. The standard mode is a guided mode, and is advised for new users, even if they have a lot of experience in conducting root canal treatments using other instruments. The expert mode, intended for experienced users of the SAF Infinitum, provides minimal guidance, all through a single control screen. Whenever you start up the device, you will be asked whether a self-cleaning cycle was conducted. We will soon see how to do that, but let's assume this has been taken care of. Then, you will be asked to choose the number of canals in the next treatment. Don't worry, you can adjust the number later. If you refrain from choosing the number of canals and go directly to the home screen, an alert at the top of the screen will indicate that you cannot work without choosing the number of canals and filling the irrigation container. Anyway, you should choose the number of canals to be treated: 1, 2, 3, or 4 canals. Then you will be asked to fill the irrigation tank with either the recommended combination of sodium hypochlorite and HEDP, or alternatively just by sodium hypochlorite. With a new device, you first need to connect the tube to the irrigation tank. You will need to use a pointed object to push the lock. Do so firmly but gently, until you hear the click and can insert the tube connector into its place. If you ever need to remove it in the future, you can repeat that action in the opposite direction. To add sodium hypochlorite to the irrigation container, pull the container release lever with one hand, while pulling aside the container with your other hand. Make sure to distinguish between the irrigation container, marked NaOCl, and the suction container. The irrigation container can hold up to 70 milliliters of irrigant, whereas the suction container can hold as much as double this amount. Fill the irrigation container carefully, using a funnel or syringe. View the number of canals suitable for the filled amount through the transparent panel on the side of the irrigation tank. It is advised to add at least 10 milliliters of sodium hypochlorite, even when treating just one root canal, in order to have sufficient irrigant to fill the tube and irrigate the root canal. For an efficient high-level cleaning, add a capsule of HEDP to the sodium hypochlorite, 1 capsule for every 10 milliliters. Wipe off any residue of irrigant from the device, using a dampened paper towel, and place the container back in its closed position. Make sure to shut it firmly into its place, otherwise the irrigation might not work properly. Shutting in the container will initiate a mixing process that will blend the irrigant combination. After 10 seconds, the mixing process will continue in the background, but the screen will return to the home screen and you will be able to start working. Take a new sterile handpiece from its package and connect the distal end of the tube to its designated point of connection in the handpiece. Before engaging in the endodontic treatment, make sure to fill the tube by continuously pressing the Fill Tube button on the screen. The tube will be filled quickly. Just make sure to stop filling when the irrigant reaches the handpiece head. Now just connect the suitable size of a new sterile self-adjusting file to the handpiece, make sure that the irrigation rate is compatible, and start working. In very wide root canals, in very young patients or in underdeveloped roots, bigger than ISO 55, the SAF 3.0 mm will be the right choice. In root canals sized 35 to 55, the 2.0 mm SAF will be the most suitable. And in root canals size 20 to 30, use the 1.5 mm diameter SAF. If the initial canal size is smaller than that, use glidepath instruments to prepare the glidepath. PreSAF flare is a rotary file used to slightly funnel the orifice of the canal, only if this is necessary. PreSAF Glide is a 1403 rotary instrument used to prepare very narrow canals, such as size number 10. PreSAF Prep is a 2105 rotary instrument used to prepare the final glide path suitable for the operation of the self-adjusting file in canals with an initial diameter smaller than 20. It has a regressive taper, going from 0.05 apically to 0.04 and 0.02 coronally, to assure a minimally invasive glide path preparation. The choice of the length of the SAF itself is determined by the length of the root canal, from the orifice to working length. The available lengths of the SAF are 21 mm, with an active length of 16 mm, 25 mm, with an active length of 18 mm, and 31 mm, with an active length of 21 mm. If the length of the root canal, from orifice to working length, is longer than the active length of the SAF, the file might not be able to reach working length during its operation, especially in cases of narrow canal orifice. Make sure that the irrigation flow rate is compatible, so you can start working. The recommended flow rate is 2 milliliters per minute, which should be sufficient for a thorough cleaning and disinfection of the root canal with the combined irrigant. If, at your professional discretion, you decide to work at a higher flow rate, such as 3, 4, 5 or 6 milliliters per minute, make sure to add more irrigant accordingly, so that you will have sufficient fluid for the operation. You can also shut down the pumps altogether. This should only be done during retreatment, when working with a gutta-percha softener, such as chloroform, for 30 seconds. In general, it is highly unadvised to operate the SAF without continuous irrigation, as this will create a lot of unevacuated debris. The device is set to count 2 minutes of work per root canal, and this will be adjusted according to the number of canals you set beforehand. During work, the countdown timer will count the time backwards until the treatment is finished. When the countdown timer reaches 0, the pumps will stop working, even if the irrigation tank still contains fluid. 1-minute beeps will help you keep track of working time, as well as alert you when the countdown timer reached 0. An on-screen alert will also be shown at that instance. If you have found another root canal, or wish to work some more in the same root canals, to improve the level of cleaning, simply add more irrigant into the container, and then define how many more canals you wish to treat. Additional working time may be advised if there is a large apical lesion or if you decide that some more irrigation is required in highly infected cases. After you finish your treatments, you should make sure to activate the self-cleaning procedure. Forgetting to do so might lead to crystallization of the sodium hypochlorite and damage to the irrigation container or the tube. To conduct cleaning, first suction the excess fluids from the suction tank and irrigation tank. Fill the recommended amount of clean water into the irrigation tank. Connect the distal side of the tube to the self-cleaning connection point in the container, and press the Clean Now button. You will be asked if you made the required preparations for the cleaning, and once you approve, the self-cleaning cycle will begin, and will wash the containers and the tube with a quick flow of the clean water. When the self-cleaning cycle is finished, simply suction the excess fluids from the suction tank and shut down the device. Shutting down the device is done by pressing the power key for 6 seconds. A pop-up on the screen will ask you to approve that you wish to shut down the system, and if you press yes, the system will shut down within a few seconds. In the settings screen, there are several issues you can control. First, you can shift your device to expert mode. It is advised to do so only after you gained enough experience in the use of the system, as this mode will only show very limited guidelines of how to set up the device for operation. On the expert mode, the important features are appended in a single screen, conducting a self-cleaning cycle, setting the number of canals, adapting the suction level, quick filling the tube, and modifying the flow rate. The settings screen allows you to adjust several things about the device. First, you can have access to various instructional videos and documents that will help you learn more about the use of the SAF system. Choosing an item will present a QR code that you can scan with your smartphone to view it in high resolution. The settings screen is also used to update the device. It is advised to check if there are updates from time to time. The pump settings section is used to set the pump's irrigation rate and to set up the suction level according to the specific treatment. If treating a mandibular tooth, or if the access cavity is very wide, use a higher suction rate, and if the treatment is of a maxillary tooth with a narrow access cavity, a lower suction rate is advised. The pump screen can also be used to follow up on the usage of the container. The container has an active life of 100 operation hours, which is enough for thousands of root canal treatments. You will need to replace the container with a new one if there is evident wear of the tube or the container, something that is unlikely to happen if you properly maintain the device. When the 100 operation hours period reaches its end, you will need to replace the container as a precaution. Upon reaching 90 hours of operation, the device will alert that you soon need to replace the container. When you get a new one, you will be able to reset the timer for the new container by pressing Replace Container. The settings screen is also used to pair a transmitter and to supervise the speed of the micromotor. The power settings section is used to set the automatic dimming and shutdown of the device, according to your preferences. The Wi-Fi scan section is used to connect to a new Wi-Fi network. The brightness section is used to adjust the brightness level of the screen. The audio section is used to activate the beeper of the device or shut it down. The language section is used to change the language of the user interface to your preferred language. The technician section is password protected, is used for technical purposes, and should only be used by an authorized technician or according to the directions of one. You should now be all set to use your SAF Infinitum device and, well, to enjoy endo.